I will see you all tomorrow. Wait, hold on. I fucked up the raid. There. Thanks, Resub, Look Up, and Tanada. Alright, sleep well, everyone.
Means they're neck and neck. North side with 14. And you got to remember, they took out Chicken Sandwich to get there as well. So it's a hard-earned 14 points for North side. Golden Sage, someone... A team we haven't really seen too much of, you know, far up the leaderboard so far this split, honestly. Sitting at 11. And Moist just doing their thing, chugging along, always putting in a couple of points, even if they're a duo.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, obviously, we spoke about it. World's Edge is not really a happy place for them in B versus C. So even 5th place, 4 kills, getting some points, as you said, so just chugging along. If it gets them into a position where after the 3 matches, they have been chugging along, and then they find that massive storm point form as they had, and suddenly they could probably finish once again really, really well late in, you know, matches 5 and 6 as they did in the lobby gone previously.
I have to say, Xenox, though, I am a little surprised that they did the late rotate there. I mean, as we said, you know, World's Edge circles are harder to call, but that one did seem like more of a landslide kind of circle, to be honest. So, you know, whether they choose to play that sort of, you know, really hedging their bets and playing from the middle of the circle and then making these really tough rotates, whether they lose a player like Walty, like we just saw there, you know, they could have really gone a little bit earlier, I feel, to landslide this time. They didn't have a beacon scan or anything, but who knows? Maybe that's maybe they should be picking up a crypto.
Oh, potentially so. Well, 5 more games if they want to make those changes. Got to do so now. We go to a short break. It's ExoClan on top. When we come back, though, match 2 for Group A versus B.
Locked and loaded. Drop shocked and rocked. Say hello to the 401st.
For alt.
Get ready for a world of hurt. Kill confirmed. Gonna add you to the list.
Well, the perfect start for APEClegends' quest to get into the top 4, starting off with a win. 20 points from the first match, of course. At the moment, outsiders of the top 4 sitting in 5th, Jeno. But, I mean, it is really the best way they could have kicked things off here for A versus B.
Yeah, and it almost feels like a direct continuation of the last series we saw them in last week, where they just were crushing it, especially on World's Edge, I guess. Maybe that's one of the secrets here as well, because we've flipped the map rotation this week. Previously, it was Storm Point first and then World's Edge for the first half of the season. Now into the second half, we're going the other way around. So World's Edge, definitely their preferred map, I guess you would say, in comp. But I'm really interested to see if they can keep that up when we get to Storm Point later as well.
You think there's a sort of element of APEClegends bullying some of those Group C teams? You look at their points for A versus C, they had 18 and then they had 25. A versus B, 9 and 13. So a big, big difference. It feels like for the first time, I guess, this split, they've been able to do it now against some of these Group B teams for the first time. So clearly a big sign for them in their improvement, really, as this split has gone on. Obviously started a little bit slow, as you mentioned. Obviously, for day 3, the 25 points. Could they be on track to repeat that again? If it is the case, top 4 would be beckoning. Now, we spoke a little bit about the legend picks, and the crypto has fallen off ever so slightly. Nothing too dramatically. Still very much involved, but not quite as prominent. Not double-digit picks as we saw in B versus C.
Yeah, things have definitely changed since week 1. You know, Valkyrie was at 100% pick rate. She's now down to 75%. And then you've got Watson and Seer following behind. They've also lost out some of their position in this graph to, legends like Crypto, and to some of these other pocket picks coming out like Bloodhound and Fuse and Wraith starting to creep her way back into the meta. And honestly, I was thinking this after last week, is that we're just seeing Valk ults be less and less effective and less usable in later parts of the game. You're not seeing people pull them out in ring 5 just to get some height anymore. That almost never happens. And I think in those situations, that's where Wraith is better, to make those micro rotations. And so I really think that Valk has been overpicked here a little bit, and we will see more Wraith start to creep back into the game.
Well, let's creep back into the game as well. Match 2 coming our way, World's Edge. I think one thing with Valkyrie for me is I still think the mid portion, right, in terms of the rotation, is probably where it's still going to have the most effectiveness, right? You're talking about the late game. You're talking about the end in terms of getting that higher ground and using that skyward dive. I still think that those, circle 3, circle 4, when you want to go and get that best position, that's still where Valkyrie is going to be able to shine the most as we head into the match 2.
Yeah, no doubt at all. It definitely gives you more options in those kind of situations, especially when you get, say, circles where you're cut in half by a mountain or something like that. I mean, unfortunately, for whatever reason, Wraith can't portal through a mountain. I mean, I think she should be able to, right? Why? She's in another dimension or whatever, right? Why can't she just go through the rock? What? It's a fair question.
You're not necessarily rock. Maybe there's rocks in the other dimension, blocking their way in that dimension.
In the void, the void. She's going, Xeno. She's not going into the rock. She's going into the void.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe there's rocks in the void. You don't know that.
I haven't visited, honestly. So yeah, you're right. I couldn't tell you.
No, but you do make a good point. Sometimes though, that's where fantasy and gameplay probably don't mix well. Got to have things be balanced. As we head into the second match, though, we are heading probably just to the south of Fragment East, below at the green circle. So something a little bit different. We haven't probably played this position so far today on all of our World's Edge matches. So north side, lava side, and south side, Fragment East. I guess really from that opening match, anything that sort of maybe struck you a little bit, Gino? Anything that sort of caught your mind?
Look, I mean, yeah, EXO obviously, starting off very well. Really, really pleased to see them continuing their run of form. Dewa also still looking pretty strong. I will be following them around just to see where they pick this ring to go, because they seem to be so on point with it. There's always one of those teams you can kind of be like, yeah, these guys are really locked in at the moment. And I feel like Dewa is definitely one of those teams for me. And they've got this zone information, so hopefully they do pick it out and can rotate there in time. Certainly teams are starting to clog up around the sort of the arteries that come in and out of the geyser, especially on the north side. I don't think it will end there. I reckon... Ooh. I had to call this one, Xenox. If I had to call it, I'm thinking North Siphon. Ooh, this is actually tough. This is tough because there's definitely more playable space up the top of Fragment East.
Yeah.
But it seems to be kind of cutting through Ghost Town a bit, which makes me think it's not going to end up there. And most of the Fragment East zones tend to be also a bit northerly. So it makes me feel like there's... Yeah, it could be pulling North Siphon, but that's an outlandish call for sure.
I mean, in fairness, though, if it is going to do that, it is just going to probably pull the whole way, right? It's going to be hard pull after hard pull after hard pull and make its way down a lava siphon. That is certainly possible. So we'll see how it does sort of translate as we have a look at Boogie Borders, who, quite honestly, didn't really get a whole lot done in that opening match. The knockdown onto Dexter, though, for EXO, obviously, we're able to pick up the win. This is probably not the best way to back up said win, though. Arkstar going to be denied by Norway. A whole lot of armor on the side of Boogie Borders. Wants to defense in the way as well. And Shady has been knocked. Fussy cracked as well. Flash, doesn't matter. EXO clan will be eliminated. So from first to last, between match 1, match 2, not the way they would have wanted to defend their throne after winning the first game.
Yeah, roller coaster, and not only that, but they lose it just like in a straight up fight as well. But that's not the only fight going on. And Manuel, they're actually going to look to take advantage of Boogie Borders, but also you can see Dooku Play and SRY going down. This lobby is going wild, Xenos, wild.
Starting off very, very fast pace. So we've lost another one in SRY. 16 squads remaining. Of course, no Stinky B, so in theory it is a 19 squad lobby, but even regardless of that, it's still just hectic. Xiao Kai knocked down as well. MDY making the push, and it is successful on the team mob. 15 squads left, and still 2 minutes and 15 until round 1's going to come to a close. This is probably the fastest we've seen it all day.
And I know there's someone out there who's being like, oh my god, this is low quality Apex. And I'm like, whatever. Shut up, man. I don't care. This is fun Apex. We're seeing teams go at it right from the word go. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time. It'll probably slow down a bit now because we've cleared out a lot of the teams that kind of can get into these fights. That said, still some potential fights over towards Harvestar, Golden Sage, and Emmanuel kind of looking at each other, even starting up some shots now. And meanwhile, Boogie Borders is trying to see if they can potentially get their teammates Banner, Fussy back. I'd say it's a low probability right now with all the other teams crowding around in Harvester. And then, yeah, some of these other teams are trying to play Edge have probably just cleared them all out by now, honestly. So unless we can see, say, MDY or Truth, who are coming from the north, going towards Harvester and pick that as the next hunting ground, I think they might just be falling into these spots.
I think Harvester's a really good POI right now as well, because it kind of does lead into some of those arteries, as you said before. I think heading into this kind of circle, if you can be one of the last teams going in through there, it makes it easy knowing that you're not going to really have anyone pushing behind you. And that's why you've got a couple of teams already starting to push over into that Harvester position. Golden Sage, obviously, as we've seen, Emmanuel have been there. And the remnants of Boogie Borders as well, who are still just trying to recover the banner of Fussy. And Shady has been able to do so successfully. So banner picked up. We'll be able to deliver Fussy to the beacon, get Boogie Borders back up to 3. So they'll do so successfully to the west of Harvester as we look at good riddance at the moment. I think a lot of teams, though, are shaping up over towards Fragment East, Gino. So you mentioned Lava Siphon, but I wonder if they're starting to feel like this actually might go towards the north side.
Well, we'll find out pretty soon. 20 seconds, we will get that option. You can see Big Boss is currently in the drone, probably just waiting for the zone to close so he can insta-pop that. trying to take out someone else's drone at the same time, so they get denied that info. GQ want it first, and they want to be the only ones who know where it's going. So we'll be able to report on that very, very soon. They pop it. Oh, okay. It's certainly pulled in the direction I was expecting, but you would have to say it's now a 50-50, right? There is a chance it could probably finish North Siphon here, but also I think we may have seen one of these zones already so far this split, where it kind of finishes, yeah, you know, just in this gulf between Fragment, the Geyser, and Lava Siphon.
Yeah, and that's not going to be a friendly gulf either, is it? So you're probably right. It's not necessarily decided just yet. But off the back of this second round closure, you will know kind of where it's going to end, right? Because if it does hard pull towards north of Lava Siphon, then it's going to finish there, right? Again, everyone will be aware of that. Those teams around Fragment East will rotate off that information, and vice versa. If it does kind of continue in a more northern direction, those teams that are holding north Lava Siphon, they will have to push through. They will have to play that gulf position. And I honestly think if this does go north, it might actually end up being more spicy than if it actually goes towards the Lava Siphon direction, because you've got those compounds, you've got those buildings, you've got the cliffs as well that you can play off. That gulf is just so open.
It is. It makes for some fun finish. Actually, the one finish that does come to mind, that, you know, because you've got that little compound that's got a couple of bins there in the middle. That's kind of some of the biggest cover you can get behind the fences. And there was one finish where we were playing with Octane. They have to finish this story after MDY start pulling in here. They're going up against 505. They've kind of got the high ground right now. Can't see through the smoke and throw some arc stars. And it looks like even though the Rolling Thunders come in, MDY are going to back off. So I'll finish the story. So we did see one finish back there, and it was like a Bangalore and an Octane team, I think it was, Xenox. And they actually threw a jump pad in the last circle to bounce the other team out of the circle and kill them just from zone damage.
I like that.
It was so much fun. Yeah.
I mean, that's just unfortunately...
That's thinking outside the box.
Yeah, something you probably won't see ever again.
Apex is going to be around for a long time, mate. It'll come back into fashion.
Octane?
10 years down the track.
Maybe we get buffed. Well, I was going to say MDY, though, as we saw them pushing away, as you were telling your story, they were actually pushing directly into free agents. They did have a little fracas, but nothing really came from it. Kind of just sharing that space over towards Geyser. And 505, they're in that vicinity as well, obviously, hence pushing MDY down there. So that kind of artery, that gap, that canyon filled out on the eastern side of this circle. No one's really going to be able to push and play that. If you are Valkyrie, you have that rotation, not going in that direction. Still quite a lot of teams actually not even in this area, as A-Flow knocked down, bleeding out for Emmanuel. They are just constantly involved in these fights.
I'm here, so let's get you a do-over, huh?
Well, they're trying to make their way out of it at the moment and just reset for a little bit, but I think it may be too late. MDY have other ideas. Dud, though, takes a couple of shots because Moist are also sitting in one of these buildings. And the triple take of all things from MT is ending their chances of getting that back in. That said, they can recover the banner. And Emmanuel are sitting on the respawn building, right? Like, this is if there's one building in the entire map where you can, you can take a loss, it's this one, because you can genuinely just get the respawn back in and have a good chance of getting back to your box without too many issues. And that's what they've done. So A-Flow is respawning in right now, and you see the other teams are going to be watching this. They don't have much else to do right now, so let's see how their tracking is going. Will they get him? Yeah. Oh, well, they get the down, but he does get inside. He manages to DI essentially back into the room.
Well, as that's happening, we do have our next circle as well, and it's not going to be a Lava Siphon finish, Gino. I do apologize there for you. We are heading over towards that goal, but still a large portion of the cliffs in play as well. Chicken Sandwich in a good position for this, as well as 505, controlling those kind of two arteries as well towards the south. They can kind of block both of those, and then it's just the gulf right? Fragment East not even remotely close to being in that next circle, and already a very early push coming out from Good Riddance. So they go for the early rotate, they go for that early position, looking to hold, and they don't even have the intel on it. They don't have the green circle. They've just absolutely made one of the bigger reads, Gino, and they don't even have the intel.
Yeah, they have made a very big read. They've got Watson, right? So this is that makes it an even better read from them. That means there's going to be a lot of pressure on Don. He's the Good Riddance Watson player right now, and I can tell you he's going to be setting up fences again and again. He's got his pylon up. He just used an alt excel, and I can only imagine there's going to be so many EMPs and whatnot, and people trying to fire in and get that pylon down. And they're just going to have to try so hard to keep this place fortified because everyone else is also going to want this position.
Everyone else is going to probably need this position, right? That's the difference for those in Fragment East especially. That's the direct path that they can sort of push into. For those coming out of Lava Siphon, or at least the north side of it, you're kind of probably going to have to fight your way into this next circle. There's about 5 teams that are going to be doing that, pushing in towards Chicken Sandwich. It's going to go one of 2 ways. Either Chicken Sandwich are going to basically just rack up a whole bunch of kills, or they're going to have too many teams fighting on top of them that they might actually fall into the mess that might develop very, very soon, especially going into round number 4. Coming good. Getting aggressive through Savior. Still only blue armor. 185 away from purple, though, on the Evo. Maybe just peek up, get some free shots in through the window. Might help out armor-wise. Otherwise, they'll just play below the building here.
Yeah, so these are the teams over towards Ghost Town, of course. A couple of them will be fighting it out. I imagine there's scarce, just a tiny little bit of space. Actually, some of, corners of these buildings are going to be in. So, might be able to play it for one more circle, but then it will become a little testy between them. Jarrow's just sitting in the middle, just popping his drone, having a look around. Ooh.
Sans?
They're looking to take this fight against Truth.
Yeah, pops the bat though, falls back. They were united. Controlled aggression from them so far today. And surely they'll get that kill onto Mosu last. Well, not last one, but the first one to go down. Easily done. They were united. We'll get rid of Mosu, and yeah, that is them gone for Truth. Obviously for Dewa, a lot of their fighting, I would say, has actually been more closer towards the end of these games when they've been successful.
Yes. Yeah, apart from that last game on Storm Point where they were, just kind of cleaned up the entire way through the game, I think you'd have to, you're right about that one. They didn't even need the full squad really to finish that one off. Easy Flash had his bow trained on Ghost Town actually and was just doing ridiculous damage numbers, as he does.
Clean shots from Player K. For those rotating. Obviously, in a really, really vulnerable but powerful position. We'll have to listen in and hear what they're talking about as they deal with this situation.
And he's delivered it to the wrong address. It's fucking crazy. Is there a guy in this truck?
Yeah, full damn. Although they were swinging downwards.
Yeah, that's gonna be our main threat then. They're going to look to wrap us, 100%. I think you and Panna go for kills here. I'm gonna stay up here and just hold everyone. Make sure no one walks up on us. You guys will have to peek from this left side here, okay? They will not be able to play this for long, even if they walk up for it. All we have to do if someone walks up behind us is just live.
It's just Walter.
There's this team here, and then there should be a team on the left hill, but they might
There's
Valkalt.
4
Careful of the
teams.
Valkalts now, okay? Careful of the Valkalts. They might look to land on us.
Do we have nades? I have 2 frags.
I have 3 arcs. If someone lands on us, I'm just gonna
ready.
nade spam them right away.
Yeah.
Careful of oobs as well. Careful of oobs. Someone's flying. Not
That's
to us.
fine.
Above us.
Yeah.
Not to us. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Careful of the other Valkalts. We pick up all those kills behind. That's you guys. You pick up all of those.
They're swinging right.
The Valkyries steals one.
That's all
One,
you
one,
guys.
dead.
Nice. There's more here.
I can look with you. No one's behind us.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe in this line. They're all here.
I'm nading once.
I'm turbo nading. Dead Val.
One
Go
knock.
back up.
Dead.
Go up.
I've
Yeah,
just
I'm
swapped
going
guns.
up. I'm
I'm
going up.
grabbing guns.
You guys lead. You guys lead. Switch with me as soon as you can.
Yeah.
We can get kills here, so just come up as fast as you can.
Yeah, come on. You can loot now, Flame.
Wait. Maybe kills over here, player. No. Kills left in the open.
Yeah. I'm here.
Left.
He's slow. The horizon. Falco. I mean,
I missed everything. This guy's running back.
he's one. I killed him.
Nice.
That's from this team.
We can wipe this. We might want to wrap this.
Okay.
No, don't. Just get kills here. Get kills. Is the Watson here?
Yeah. Yes. I don't know. If
I'm
she
gonna
has a
try
team,
to third
though.
and come back. Just chill. Dead.
Nice. I'm looking right.
I killed her.
Nice,
I need
nice,
to loot. You guys stay. Just stay.
Walking up left.
Go
Walking
back,
up left. Yeah, I'm going back.
Just stay. Look for kills. Just hold. Don't let anyone bounce all on
I killed
us.
one. I killed a Val.
I'm going
They're
to loot.
bullying.
That's
They're
all you
bullying
guys.
right,
No,
panel.
left. There's
We
one
might
solo.
want to swing
solo.
aside soon.
One far right still. Far right's moving left now.
Yeah. They might be a solo Flame.
Solo here.
Yeah.
Solo's here.
I'm ready for. I have so much nades. 3 arcs, 3 frags.
Yeah, because I have no nades. I need one.
Okay. I can go back down and grab more.
No time.
Now that I do have time.
Left.
Okay. I'm looking.
Almost
Careful
back.
of the right, player. Careful of the right.
Yeah,
We pick
I
up
am,
all the
I
kills
am.
on the left here. Crossing now. Low. Dead.
Died. Nice.
That's a solo. 2 full teams now.
nice.
2 full teams. Team on the right here.
These guys don't have to move.
Yeah. But they're gonna have to move first. We win this game for free. We just have to. We kind of want to stay right, but I think we want to force this team to stay right, and when they stay right, we might want to like wrap on them as soon as right gets like 2 knocks or something.
Yeah, this guy can peek.
We don't want to do anything early because then we just throw.
This guy here.
This
on the
guy's
bin.
wrapped on the left. Careful. How much light do we have?
None.
Not much. I have 100.
Okay. I'm holding my shots. Oh, we win this game. Literally for not moving. We win this game for not moving.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Just,
sit here
just
until
be
this is
careful
out.
not to let left like hard wrap us, and we have to be careful not to let right like climb up on us. That's it. Right climbing up on us is going to be our biggest threat. 100%.
Yeah.
Left isn't going to do much. They have to move first. Pop in a bed.
I'm getting looked at by left pretty hard.
Yeah. They can't push you. We're hard staring them as well.
That I think that's a win condition though.
Yeah. We need to stare at left 100%.
They're pushing me!
I'm here. Just
Yeah.
fight. We have to fight for it.
Fight.
Oh, no, wait.
Fight.
No, we can't.
Item 60. I have the bat.
I'm here.
Nading! Chill, player.
Yeah.
They're trying to
Floated
push.
him.
Can you come back to me? Just come back.
I'm fine here.
They're not safe there. I'm shielding you, Panna.
Other team walked up.
Come back to me.
On me is safe. You
You can put my
it's not
shield
in.
underneath here. You're fine. Just come to me. They can't peek anymore. Just come to me in this corner.
40.
Corner. Heal up.
Ah, bro.
You're fine. Play for a second. You're good. I'm gonna
There's
start
one of us,
moving
I
forward.
think.
Yeah. Careful peeking from above.
How
They
is
can't.
505 a day was still
Just heal
not
up, Panna.
fighting?
You're good. I'm gonna move forward.
No, it's fine. I think take my armor flame.
No. Don't. Play your life, player. Play your life. Safe on me in the crevice.
I don't have gen.
Safe in the crevice.
What's the track?
Just lift.
Can we pick up? Can we go up?
Wait. No.
I think now.
Okay. Go, come back down. Safe on me. Heal up.
Yeah, I'm here.
They're fighting. Just full heal.
I died.
Don't have to peek that.
Oh my god, that was an incredibly close game there. Chicken Sandwich somehow managed to get the reset, but honestly, I'm not even sure if they came second or third because that last fight was just so close. I mean, Chicken Sandwich seemed to have the best position, but Dewa and 505 were just not looking at each other. They were not firing at each other at all. and that just meant that Dewa just kept taking more and more ground, getting closer and closer to Chicken Sandwich until they finally got the knock, and that's when 505 finally started to pay attention, or at least, turn their attention towards Daewoo. That allowed them to get the reset, but for then it felt like Chicken Sandwich couldn't really, find the spot to do enough damage and keep the other two at bay. But wow, an incredibly tense situation there. It was also so much fun watching them destroy all the teams that made the same mistake I did and thought that North Siphon was the place to play from. Right? I mean, those grenades rocking in. There were like 5 or 6 teams, and you just saw all of them get eliminated pretty much at once.
Yeah, in the end, it was third for Chicken Sandwich. So 505 did clutch up and get second. Crazy finish. I mean, me and you were kind of just sitting there like, oh, if they just hold here, they'll just win. And we heard the comms, and it was, Daewoo can't push. They can't push us. The left side's fine. It's only the right side. In the end, Gino, it actually was Daewoo United. It was the left side that was the downfall for Chicken Sandwich. And I think a big part of that was just the fact that 505 and Daewoo were not looking at each other at all. It allowed Daewoo to make that push. And honestly, it was a very clean and precise push. And suddenly Chicken Sandwich, I think before they realized, we're on the back foot. So underestimated Daewoo a little bit and got punished forward. But I mean, a massive performance from Daewoo United. 2 big games in a row for them. And after 2 matches here for A versus B, they'll be in top spot.
Yeah, 19 points. They were only 1 behind EXO at the end of last game, but with the 10 kills and the dub here, you're right, they're going to make their way even further up the standings, and it's been a fantastic day for this squad, hasn't it?
Chicken Sandwich, though, they felt like they were going to get the win. They even said it. This is a win for us in the end, third. Could if they played that differently? I'm not so sure. I don't think there's much more that they realistically could have done. If anything, maybe just deal with the Daewoo United push a bit better, a little bit cleaner. You just win that fight and suddenly you probably win the game. You can't really push out onto 505. You push out too early. They even said it. You're just going to get third party. You're just going to get pinched anyway. You basically throw the game over to Daewoo United. So I think it actually more so came down to just a really solid push for Daewoo. You just give them credit. They played that well. And I think Chicken Sandwich underestimated them a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think it was a macro problem at all. We can have a look at the placement timeline now and see, where they ended up third, of course, for the team that we were having that listen in for the last couple of minutes. But yeah, it really was just the micro decisions. Hitting some shots, just being able to play off each other enough, and taking a little bit too much damage from Daewoo as they pushed up. So yeah, nothing too much to change about that. I mean, with a third place and an 8 kills to their name, Chicken Sandwich certainly aren't going to be unhappy with that one, and it will put them up in third with 19 points. So it's pretty tight up towards the top there, of course, apart from Daewoo, the outlier.
Yeah, it is only 2 matches though. In fairness, I will say Dreamfire came out swinging really hard as well in B versus C, and no one was able to go with them. So for Daewoo United, they put themselves now in a position where, destiny's in their hands, we like to say. Like, as long as they just keep performing in this fashion, no one will be able to catch them. That's, of course, if they can continue to play this well. One thing to note, Chicken Sandwich, Gino, game 1, basically nothing. Game 2, they go big. They perform a lot better. So big turnaround for them. And Exoclan, first to last, right? So you've got so many different storylines sort of developing there, but I think more importantly, I kind of look at those top 3, and it's not a disrespect to Golden Sage down to Emmanuel, but it's those top 3 that are fighting for in that top 5. So where's Boogie Borders? Well, they're 12th at the moment, only the 9 points. Where's Moist? They're 11th. So those 2 really need to pick up the pace if they are going to stay in touch with the top 3 at the moment, because those top 3 and the top 5 overall in the split are going to pick up some hefty points. That's going to cost both Moist and Boogie Borders big time. So 4 matches to go, of course, here for A versus B. Those 2 in particular need to pick up the pace. The top 3 just keep on going, and they're looking very, very strong. Go to a short break. On the other side, it is our final match of World's Edge for the day.
champions of the Apex Legends Global Series.
They were United, finishing just 3 points short of second place earlier this evening in B versus C, or Gino. They're not leaving anything on the table this time. They have come out swinging in A versus B, firmly in that top spot. To think that they were 3 points short of getting the full 21 points for second. They could have then got 25 points. Could have been a massive, massive day. But I mean, even still, third, and if they can continue on and maybe finish first, it would be a massive day for them in their quest for top 4.
Yeah, that'd be a big bump, wouldn't it? Dewa, they're playing 2 series today. We were talking a little bit about it at the start of the day, actually, Xenox, about whether, that helps or hinders a team. I've certainly seen a couple of teams come out and say, it's tough. It really is tough to play at this level for that long. It's different to having an entire day of ranked. Just going to have a quick look at the kill leaders from today so far. And once again, no surprise with Dewa having 2 awesome games at the start of this series that it's going to be Easy Flash, Kissans, and Bastion all the top.
And it was Easy Flash that actually had 15 kills back in B versus C. So actually, it's really good to see Kissans kind of like now leading from the front, right? It shows that they've got the ability to spread the love a little bit between the 3, and obviously Bastion on 7 as well. So it's not like it's a one-hit wonder or anything like that. These 3 have been all performing really, really well today, basically for the last 5 hours or so. And then that's, part of the conversation. I think it's pretty evident that they've been able to sort of bring the form that they had at the back end of B versus C now into A versus B. You look at moist-esports as well. They had a pretty decent match 1 here too, A versus B. Okay, maybe match 2 didn't quite go as well for them, but evidently, I think, there's probably a case for both, right? You can easily turn around and say, well, they can bring some form in. They're already warm. They're warmed up. Like, they've had technically games already under their belt. And then, there's the other side of it too, where long day, very, very long day. You might have to fire out. Maybe for the first 2 matches, you might have that skill. And then you start to kind of almost burn out a little bit the last 3 or 4. That's something to maybe keep an eye on. And they were United. Keep it going at this level, at this intensity, 4 more matches.
Yeah, okay. Well, why don't we have a look at the scoreboard, Xenox, to see, where the intensity thus far has put these teams. And as you can see, you've got, 41 points there for Dewa. They're really, really pushing it this far ahead of the competition. You've got EXO, Chicken Sandwich there doing okay as well. And, look, we'll be getting to the next game soon, but this leaderboard is really telling us that Dewa have got a chance to push well ahead of the competition. And everyone else, honestly, is still in it.
Match played, right? I guess you don't want to get too ahead of yourselves. In some ways, we said that a little bit about X12. They've been in match 1, and on the whole, place, but expecting that again from Exo Clan, that was most likely a one-off situation for them in match number 2. And the other part of it as well is the fact that we've only got the 1 more game in World's Edge before heading over to Storm Point. Yeah. And as evident, what we saw in B versus C, Genome was a couple of teams that was able to sort of turn their fortunes around on Storm Point in B versus C. The question will be, will that happen again? I'm kind of looking towards moist-esports to maybe be one of those teams once again. World's Edge has not been kind to them. Storm Point is where they're going to have to rely on getting the vast majority of their points.
Yeah, exactly. And with 9 points in at this stage, there's always time to come back. It feels like you can't count moist-esports out. But why do they have me constantly questioning them? Why?
Yeah,
can't they just have a good start to the day and put it to rest?
I think we'll probably get some answers a little bit more if they perform as well as they did on Storm Point and B versus C once again here in A versus B. Then suddenly they just become the Storm Point team, right? For the remainder of the split, that's where they're probably going to shine the most. And there's some concerns with that because, as you said, you don't really want to be a half team, right? You can't just rely on just doing it on the one map.
Even if you think historically as well, Xenox, it's a bit funny, right? Because it's a mashup of previous teams. Waltzy, when he was playing for Sutaraiku last year, he was the one who was the Storm Point specialist, and they'd play Edge, and they would absolutely clean up. And then, of course, MT, who has for the longest time always been the very hard zone player, a purist on that front for the longest time, was the world's edge specialists on Team Burger at that point. So we're getting this kind of clash of those styles. And, of course, MT being the IGL means they kind of go with his way, right? Which is interesting because that would lead you to believe that perhaps they'd be better at World's Edge than Stormpoint, but obviously that hasn't been borne out so far, and I think that is just somewhat due to their ability to read zones on one map better than the other.
Yeah, I mean, the other part of it as well is it might just be sort of a today thing, right? Maybe there is somewhat of a correlation today, but it doesn't potentially mean it has to translate over the course of the entire stage, right? Like, so it might just be, okay, today we just kind of sucked a little bit on World's Edge, but we were pretty good on Stormpoint. That might not be the case next week, right? So it's kind of hard to judge too much about it, but for their sake, they certainly will need that form on Stormpoint as we head into our final game of World's Edge. They need some points here as well to just help them out a little bit, along with Boogie Borders as well. Boogie Borders too, in a somewhat similar predicament. Spoke about that before, Gino, where, realistically, coming into this last game of World's Edge, Boogie Borders are in the same spot as moist-esports, where they're not in contention with those top three at the moment in the lobby, but yet for those two, they're still top 5 teams, so they've got to be able to keep the pace. You cannot afford for those top 3 to get, basically full points, and you get very little.
Yeah, Boogie Borders definitely need to be picking it up a little bit. They've had a slow start, and they're not a team that we had really seen that from before. All of those guys, frankly, in Boogie Borders, Raki, Fussy, and now Shady, that they have made the roster changes they have so far this season, have been kind of cleaning up. So they do have a little bit of time to, to come back and do that. We're only 2 games into the series. Of course, having a look at Bastion here from our points leaders for Series 2 here today. Solid 7 points. 7 kills and yeah, more than 1,000 damage a game here from Bastion.
Yeah, being a team effort though, right? Like that's probably been the strength for They Were United. I think it's just been all 3 of them have been able to contribute evenly. Bastion's had 7 kills, Kassan's had 8. Obviously, Easy Flash had 5, but Easy Flash had the most amount of kills back in B versus C. So evidently, all 3 of them are able to sort of play at the same kind of level. Clearly, all on the same page as well in their decision making, in their ability to sort of push and fight in these late game situations, which is where I think they've done it the most compared to, say, like what we saw from Dreamfire, right? A lot of fights from Dreamfire were early game fighting, right? And more so towards the mid game. They was probably more mid towards late. So a little bit different. And I think that speaks volumes for this team as well, where that's not an easy place to fight. That's not really an easy time to get those kills, when you kind of saw towards the end of that last game, what was it, like 4 or 5 teams all pushing, trying to go up a hill into Chicken Sandwich, and they all just got absolutely, capitulated.
Yeah, that was a messy fight. That was a bit of a burrito bowl of teams there, honestly, that Chicken Sandwich just munched up a couple little tasty spices to put on top of the sandwich. Actually, look, while we're waiting for this next lobby to come on Xenox, we often get some viewers from around the world, from overseas and that sort of thing. So I just want to make one thing abundantly clear, right? We've seen some comments on Reddit saying that, it's no surprise that we've got Chicken Sandwich coming in here this time because we had Team Burger last time, right? And I just want to be really clear that it's a sandwich and it's not a burger, okay? And if you're from the US and you're trying to tell me that a chicken sandwich, you can eat it between burger buns, you're wrong, okay? Like, if it's a burger, it's in burger buns, and you know that because it's the type of bread that dictates what you call it. I'm tired of these completely, random, arbitrary associations that we're trying to push about, whether it's a sandwich or a burger. It's easy. If it's in bread, it's a sandwich. If it's in burger buns, it's a burger, guys. Get with the times. A chicken sandwich and burger are not the same.
I thought that was common knowledge.
No. If you go to the US and you ask people, they will just I've genuinely had debates with people from the US who will who will like die on the hill that you can have a chicken sandwich in burger buns. And like, it just defies all imagination, doesn't it? It really does.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. They do things a little bit more differently, don't they, up in the old northern states? But fortunately, chicken sandwich is not really the primary focus right now tonight, which is really good because I think sometimes you can get a little bit sick of the same team just running away with things over and over and over again. You look at the last couple of lobbies, 25, 21, 25, 16 points. Like they've just clearly been able to sort of clean house. And while they had a very good performance in that second match, the first match did leave a little bit to be desired. It has opened the door for the likes of, Daiwa United to potentially claim the points here in this lobby. And if they do so, Daiwa, there's a chance that second place could be on the cards. I think the thing, though, for Chicken Sandwich is, in fairness, they don't need first place. They probably don't even need second place. Even a third place finish here really just puts them in almost the prime position, still going into day 5 to finish strong and obviously claim a top 4 spot. So I don't know what they would have to do to get knocked out of the top 4. Probably have to get no points.
I can tell you. Because there's someone out there, an amazing Redditor, who is keeping a spreadsheet that tracks this. And he is telling us that at this point, I don't know, this probably isn't updated with the first series from today, I would guess. I don't think he's, that super on top of it, but it'll probably be updated again at the end of today. At the start of today, yeah, it is, because Moist is on 54 points. Chicken Sandwich only needed an average placement at the end of the day, of course, of 8th for the rest of their series to make it into the top 4.
Wow.
That's how far ahead they are. Everyone else, like Moist, they need to get, they're in second place. They need to get an average of 4th place from here on out to make it work. Boogie Borders, Daiwa, EXO, they need to get an average of 3rd place. Anyone who's like even below pretty much the bottom half of the teams have to average 1st, right? They basically just have to chain wins from the rest of this season. So, all right, look, we've had just a wonderful first series today, having a look at Dreamfire. So, why don't we have a look at some of the highlights we've seen from Dreamfire today?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're a team that I think really set the tone early on, Genome. The Bangalore pick was, clearly successful in the end, and really from the get-go, they were able to be on the front foot, lead their fights. A couple of times they were getting gate-capped, and they were able to still just push through anyway. Smoke was clearly their ally, and 25 points, very much needed 25 points, because the conversation coming into B versus C was that they were middling a little bit. What were they, like 30? Was it like 36 points? Something ridiculous like that. They were clearly behind. Now, winning this lobby has put them back in the conversation at the very least. They still need other things to go their way. But maybe if they are evidently back to the Dreamfire that we know and love, then they can obviously go all the way and still get that top 4 position. At the very least, maybe if it's not top 4, could still get 5th.
Bangalore, Crypto, and Sia. What a composition. You'll
Hey,
love to see it. Roy on the Bangalore, honestly, is an interesting one. I wouldn't think that he's actually played that legend in comp a lot before. Maybe a long time ago. Obviously, there was a time, where you did see a bit of Bangalore, but even then, I feel like he's usually been on, the Wraith, some other kind of, point of the tip of the spear sort of legends. But either way, helps him out, gets that bullet time, extra movement to help you out when people are taking the shots at you, that kind of thing. So maybe a little bit of a fun one for the star carry of the team. Not that the other players are slacking. Certainly when we saw the fact that all 3 of them were the kill leaders, and we brought those stats up earlier on in the day. People are making their legend selections at the moment, so hopefully it won't be too long, and we can continue to get into this game. Stinky Beat still nowhere to be seen, so we will be continuing on with 19 teams for the rest of the day, I believe, Xenox.
Unfortunate. They tried, obviously, in B versus C. They had the 2 players, and unfortunately, even with the 2 players, it's still a very difficult task, and they really couldn't really get anything going. So I don't know the full circumstances as to sort of why they haven't necessarily returned, so it's hard to sort of play too much into it. But still, they tried, didn't work. But we have been able to work our way into game number 3. final match of World's Edge for today here for A versus B. On the other side of it, of course, we've still got 3 matches of Storm points. So still a lot of games to be played, a lot of points to fight for. And coming off of the win from match number 2, refresher, of course, they were united up to 41 points now, 21-point lead over ExoClan. 4 games to go. They can hold this pace. They would be putting themselves in the position to claim the 25 points and firmly entrench themselves into second place on the overall standings.
Yeah, that'd be quite the story from today, wouldn't it? That's plenty of other teams trying to stop them. It's kind of hard to, you know, impose your will on a lobby when there's 19, or in this case, I suppose 18 other teams that are looking to do that. Okay, so we're going to get a lava siphon circle here by the looks of it. See if I can be proved wrong another time today and have it shift over to Harvester where north side are, but you never know. There are options. Where are Moist going to go? They just, I mean, this is like, I wonder, I'd love to know their thought process behind this, Xenox. So let's say, you know, MT's thinking the same thing as me, because, you know, obviously great minds think alike, and, you know, he's thinking, all right, it's a 50-50 between Harvester and Siphon. You know, does that mean you just pick Siphon every single time, bank on it being that? I mean, look, honestly, north side are rotating from Harvester to Siphon, so that would indicate that they agree, certainly. But yeah, I wonder in that case if they'd ever, like, even if it was like a 60-40 the other way or something, would you just take the 40 because you get exactly the position you want if you stay within your own POI? I'd like to know his thoughts on that, honestly.
For Moist and for MT, they don't actually have green circle knowledge at the moment, right? So they actually probably...
Yeah, that's a good point. They didn't get beacon.
Yeah, so they're probably not the best example, but I do understand the premise of your discussion.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it just doesn't apply to Moist, but you look at Northside, right, who do have that knowledge. They've actually pushed into Lava Siphon. I think you probably would go actually and look at Northside Esport and say the way that they've pushed in and the position that they've got, based on the information that they have, clearly there's an idea, okay? If you Siphon, I think you want to be playing in a position where, at the very least, if it does start to swing and pull over towards Harvester, you want to be in a position where you can pull yourself too hard into Lava Siphon where you kind of get stuck.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, yeah, once they see the rotate timing there from north side, they know it probably has to be north side. They know no one else can really get there that fast. And then they can be like, oh, okay, well then, you know, it's Crypto Player. They've got that information. Almost certainly it's going to be a Lava Siphon game. That said, they are sitting in the middle. And there's almost no chance of the zone actually ending in the middle. It doesn't tend to do that in Lava Siphon. So they haven't picked a spot that, like, once again, Moist are just sort of playing from this spot that it's like, we're going to guarantee we get into round 3 or 4. But beyond that, honestly, it's really hard to know. So, yeah, I'm sure they don't have all the information, as you pointed out, but, like, it's never going to end there, I suppose.
No, but
you're not trying to make.
You're not necessarily, I guess, moving opening round for a position where you think it's going to finish. You probably want to play the position early that's safe now and that you can play with that and you can move off of that as well, right? So if you're looking at Northside as a good example, they're not going to be moving into that position because they think it's going to finish there. They're moving into that position because there's still, as you said, that chance. It might go Harvester. Do you want to play and put yourself in a position where you can play off of that? What happens if it pushes, say, towards the southwest as well? Can you rotate into that position? So you want to put yourself in a position now, early, that can play multiple different positions based on the way it's going to pull round 2, 3, 4, etc. You definitely, from round 1, cannot predict where this is going to finish. It's too much of a gamble. It could pull easily over towards northeast Lava Siphon, kind of where you thought it was going to go last time. Now it is actually a little bit more of a reality. So you could push yourself there. They was there at the moment. A couple other teams like 505. Are they sitting back saying, oh, guys, it's 100% going to go here? No, not necessarily.
No, they're not. Right. But the point is, if they pick a spot where it can end, they have the upside of it finishing on them and having Godspot from the start, and the downside of it is, I would say, a lot less, right? I mean, they still have to make that rotation. Like, okay, Look, the middle building is great to play from. You know, they're not going to be in a huge amount of danger there. So that I think is sort of the mindset that they're coming into this from. But I just worry because they seem to keep getting into these spots where it's really tough for them at the end of the game. But MDY are going up against Dugu Play here down at the north side of launch site.
Pretty even fight breaking out. White it's not started well in the first two matches. Why though do lose Yu-Ling. Over to Usu say. Dugu Play getting that first elimination, but traded back has a clean, up close and versatile. Moonlight Tears looking for the trade. But at least they find it. So only one standing for MDY. Probably not standing for much longer. Moonlight Tears not able to get that knock though. Not able to get that final kill.
Yeah, looks like got QQ. He manages to get away. He's going to probably take that geyser. No, actually just going to keep sneaking around. Asia from Emmanuel was also peering in just from the side, wondering if that was perhaps something they could get. Actually goes back in for the banner. Surely they see this. They hear the noise.
It's free.
QQ Play haven't actually completely healed up yet though, so they're not necessarily, you know, watching those banners super hard, and that means QQ is actually going to get away with it and can potentially res all the way back at the dome.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe
they hadn't pushed out though. That's the thing, right? So like for QQ, he had that vision, and that's why he didn't just leave. He looks back, he sees it completely open. He knows they're sitting inside of the building, healing up, you know, medding. Perfectly timed, perfect game sense, and really well executed. And I think Dugu Play probably were not anticipating it to be that good either. As we transition over to SRY, they're having a rough time of things along with Game Mob. Aimbot goes on up on the rise, and well, we go, and SRY are gone. 18th place, struggling here in Group A versus B.
Yeah, and the Seer actually got caught off guard completely there. Billy, they were holding a door and just did not, I don't know, maybe didn't get the sound cue and literally just got like 200'd, like one clipped before they even managed to turn around. So that was the one casualty of the fight for them. But GQ also having a look at Hermagerd, but they're pretty well fortified. They've got some perimeter fences going on here. I wouldn't think it's going to be that easy for GQ to push. They do have a crypto, but by the looks of it, they've already used the EMP. So resetting up those fences probably after Big Bosses use that.
MDY White eliminated, taken out. Moist collecting a couple of those kills unhappily. GQ. Just the one Arc Star here for Big Boss. They timed this right. Could quite easily find the kill here. On to Hermagerd up top. Enters are up though from Savior.
Just taking the time, playing this one out slowly. The building's actually just in the next zone, so they don't really have to rush it. They've got a couple of minutes to play this out. Who knows how much they've got to work with. I mean, you can see there was only, what, 40 heavy ammo, which I'm sure you can switch that over if you need to for Jolas, but don't necessarily want to waste everything in this one fight. So 2-tap. Ooh, just outside. Looks like they're looking for him. Can they manage to grab him before he rejoins the rest of GQ?
But as soon as they've pulled out here, they've taken a pretty hefty beating. Straight away, you kind of have to just fall straight back in, and it's kind of back where you started. Use a couple of your supplies as well to armor back up. Do have that green circle as well, Gino. It's pulling to the south of Lava Siphon, so it's not going to be a harvest to finish. Actually pulling straight on top of Emmanuel, along with Good Riddance, who did get a bit of early information with that beacon. This fight's still just prolonging. And it's not really going to benefit either team at this point. The longer this goes on, it is really going to be detrimental for both of them.
Well, you don't have teams set up in the caravans just yet. Now, we don't have app in this lobby, if I'm correct. So that means you're not going to see any Rampart Watson shenanigans. We've seen that be extremely powerful if you've got the pylon and the fences and the amped cover set up on the inside of a caravan. It can be almost impossible to break through when Sheila's coming at you at a rate of knots. And yeah, no one's occupying those just yet, but oh my god. Despite how much they try and get them out of here, GQ
Wow.
have pushed it a little bit too far. But on the back of that, 505 on the way.
Yeah, good timing here from 505 as well. They might be able to get all three while they're heavily wounded. Just trying to sit inside of that bathroom and heal on up. Max just got to be careful on the stairs. He's done well to get body hop, but does fall to Jolas. So still really good credit has to go here. Termagerd has done well to fight off one team. Now a second one. Prize E going down. Kissan to Dawa United now starting to also want the third party get involved. So Hermagerd do go down. You kind of give them a little bit of a pat on the back. Good job. They did well against GQ. Then they had 505 pushing in them as well. Warded them off to the point where 505 are basically just about done because of it. Only one left. They were United clean up the rest. They'll take 2 kills from that. Yeah, there's where that circle's kind of heading and moving. So just towards the western side of Lava Siphon.
Evo shield here. Level 3.
Yeah, those caravans still in at the moment. A little bit of the highway is in as well. I would think that goes down towards the caravans there in the middle, at the sort of southeastern end. Guess we'll just have to see though. But if that is the case, it's good riddance, and it's Emmanuel. We're looking okay at the moment. As you can see, there's a lot of teams up the north, including Chicken Sandwich, including Boogie Boarders and Dewa. A lot of these teams that often find themselves at the pointy end of the game, who are going to have to push their way into this.
We should maneuver to that area.
United have been playing the edge really, really well today. This is going to be another kind of game where it's going to really test their capabilities on that set position. Boogie Boarders have rotated in, making their way just outside of Dugu Play, and along with moist-esports as well, inside of Lava Siphon. They have been spotted. Boarders. Oh, good shots from Waltzy. With the pressure, it's already a quick crack onto Raki as well. Shady having to pop some shells. They've only got white. 2 of them have got white armor, Gino.
Yeah, not great at this point in the game. I'm assuming, was it MJY were the ones who got rezzed in Dome, right?
They were.
Yeah, so that's probably why. I just haven't been able to find anything else. Not really any spots to loot on the way in there. Actually, there was some crafting at launch site, but I guess that's perhaps been out of their reach for now. So they're probably just, you know, waiting until they can find somewhere else. Looking at the command center over there. moist-esports taking a bit of poke. They are co-occupying the building with Dugu Play. We're close to getting to that situation we talked about where all of a sudden they're going to have to make their move.
And I've just watched Dewa United, so going from edge, they've actually just skyward dived straight in towards one of the caravan positions. It was one of the more central positions that was based on that last circle. That will no longer be, of course, here into the 4th round. They will have to move once again. A lot of teams towards the South Genome will have to move in aggressive manner. There's the teams coming out of Lava Siphon can probably fight each other up close, push in a little bit late if they need to. Those teams to the south, a lot more open terrain between them and the next zone.
Yeah, it's a fraught rotation for a couple of these teams. Truth Esports, not one of them. They're looking pretty happy up here. That N-Train car will be within the zone. So the one that Nut and Mosu are in right now. Be very happy with that. Still, the train cars in the middle of the zone are unoccupied. And it looks like finally someone's going to move in there, and it's going to be moist-esports. So I honestly kind of feel like this is a late rotation, but okay. Looks like Dewa. A lot of other teams for them to go up. Good riddance. Golden Sage are here, and we've also got... That's
Oh, easy flash. I mean, this is where Daewoo have been at their best today, though. These late game fights, under pump, under pressure. A lot of teams in and around them. Kassan's getting the knock on the castle. Lots of damage going out. Can they convert this, though, into kills? Especially when there's a lot of other teams that will start to want a third party. There's easy flash goes up. Does get that kill onto QQ. Does have to fall back, though. Kassan's is cracked. Has to pop the bat. Oh, on health as well. Again, this is the strength of Daewoo United today.
They have this aura about them today, and it seems to just push people away. It seems to, really help them in these fights when they're not only just taking 3v3s, but having to worry about the pressure coming in from third, fourth, and fifth parties sometimes. Next, they're going to go up against Golden Sage.
Oh, good intel here, and they can really capitalize. Double red armor, Kissan's purple crack immediately, same with easy flash, but got the frag grenade. Bastion just says goodbye to Golden Sage. More kills for Daewoo United. They take the position as well, Gino. This is now a safe position on the south side. There's no other team nearby, so they will get the time to heal on up. North side are out, 10 squads remain.
Can I get some Kobe's in chat, please? Dewa, send them home. Send them packing with a double with a frag. And that's the south side of the zone completely to themselves. Moist have gone from one caravan to the other, actually. And it's a good choice because that's the one that's going to be contained within the next zone. You can see one of them unoccupied there. Wouldn't be a bad place to stage from, but it won't be in zone 6. Dugu play. Still got some space here in the northern side, but soon enough, Boogie Borders going to be surfing on by.
Quiet for Boogie Borders today in this group. This might be the game where it can start to really turn for them. They and moist-esports both now into the top 10 remaining squads, 9 left to be exact. Free agents, haven't seen a whole lot of them either. Oh, and Biggsy just cracked immediately. We'll just fall down to Lahim. How's that shield battery available?
You can see a lot of teams have got their setups ready to go here with Chicken Sandwich and free agents on the high ground. Truth Esports as well, of course, for Usama. The shots ring out this time. He's had to make do with longbow. Borders, we said they were going to make that move up towards Dugu Play. It's a tough fight for them. Dugu Play looks like almost certainly going to come out on top. Boogie Borders out in 9th. Another poor finish for them. They have to come back on Storm Point.
And there's a couple of little scraps going on at the moment. One going towards southwest, and a lot going out towards the eastern side as well. Boost is going to be finished off by Iraqi. Asia knocked already for him, and well, had good position a lot of the times in this game. A-Flow Chambers, he's cracked, he's full flash. A-Flow does well to get rid of Moonlight Tears. Unfortunately, though, it all falls apart. Moist will capitalize, they'll pick up the points onto him, and well, now they turn their attention forward to get rid of Dugu Play. Moist-esports wiping out
Going up against Chicken Sandwich.
back to back, and now Chicken Sandwich making their way in. Only 5 squads left. It is completely kicking off here in the final end of this game.
Moist Sandwich, they have a safe spot, but they actually go out to try and either finish up some kills or grab some loot. Either way, it was a cursed rotation for them. It was a cursed call from MT, the only one, the IGL, who is still alive. People poking at him through the gaps in that caravan right now. Meanwhile, Chicken Sandwich, they're all still alive. They were very happy at the end of that fight. And Moist, unfortunately, go from having a great spot in the zone to only 1 player alive.
Kills the Chicken Sandwich. It's almost double digits at the moment. They were United as we sort of watch them again here. They have not stopped moving. They moved from the south side, now over towards the north side, right underneath Truth Esports. So we're down to just Motsu. And that's Surasama. The fight continuing to just break out. Mose is so low, and he does eventually get knocked and finished as well. 2 more kills for Daewoo United. They go past double-digit kills once again into the top 4 as well. So from a 20-point lead in front of Chicken Sandwich, despite Chicken Sandwich still being alive in this game, Gino, Daewoo just are doing more. They're doing more with what they've got in this game.
Moist finally goes down to the zone. MT tries to make a play with a med kit, but can't get out in time. Too much pressure from Chicken Sandwich. Now with 3 teams left alive, good riddance, Chicken Sandwich and Daewoo. Which one will come out on top? You can see right behind them, Chicken Sandwich are probably going to be able to deal with good riddance, but does that give the advantage to Daewoo?
I think it does. I think they're about to go back-to-back here because they can just push in third party. Good riddance gone. Now it's Clean 3 versus 3. Arkstar went out straight from Flame, loses his armor. He's flashed, throws Panna as well. Daewoo United clearly to the advantage. They want Pass again. Is that going to be enough to see the ball all at one tick? Sands almost running out of ammo. Easy flash doing as much as possible. Got the down onto Panna. They do enough. It is indeed back-to-back for Daewoo United. And they racked up the kills in this game as well. It was a flawless match here to close out World's Edge.
We have our Apex champions.
Back to back, and it almost feels like it's back to back to back because of how many points and how well they did in that first game as well, Xenox. Okay, Daewoo have just done probably as well as you can do on World's Edge to start off this series. I'll give you the tally of the kills in just a second. But I can tell you it's gonna be a swag. It's gonna be a whole 15 kills. Chicken Sandwich with 8, not bad. Everyone else is 5 or under. But yeah, 15 and the win for Daewoo United. So it is absolutely 100% their day.
Yeah. And obviously Chicken Sandwich are not sort of too far behind them now to close out the 3 matches of World's Edge. Chicken Sandwich, will be probably firmly in second because ExoClan have, once again gone out in last place. I don't know, did we miss that one, Gino? Because that's back-to-back last place finishes for ExoClan off the back of winning match 1. I did say at the end of match 1, I'd be like, it's only one game. Well, I didn't think that they would go and get last 2 games in a row off the back of that. So that's going to firmly give up their position, at the top end of the standings. And yeah, Chicken Sandwich will take second. Big game as well for moist-esports. 4th place, 4 kills. They needed that. They only had the 9 points from the first 2 games, but it's all about Daewoo United. And and I hate to say it, but in some ways it feels like they would have to royally screw up on Storm Point to give up a top 2 position from here. I'm not saying first is locked or anything like that because Chicken Sandwich is still really, really good. But the gap from first to third, I imagine, is going to be pretty big.
I mean, yeah, they're going to be rocking up, with 60 plus points into the final map of the day. I think maybe 67, 68, something like that. That's kind of nuts. Is that possibly even ahead of where Dreamfire were at this point?
Potentially. Dreamfire had a pretty good first 3 games. You got to remember, Dreamfire's, it was last 2 games for them that they kind of really, welted a bit. So I don't know off the top of my head, but I think Dreamfire obviously also had a very good opening 3 games. In fairness, Dreamfire did not win 2 games in a row the way that Daewoo United did, right? So 68 points. Yeah, I mean, I would actually say, yeah, you know what? Off the top of my head, I'm going to go for it. I think Daewoo United's had a better 3 games there than what we saw even from Dreamfire. Because Dreamfire actually, it was match 1, they had the 16 kill second place, match 3, 16 kill first place. But match 2 was only like a 4 kill game. So they were averaging 12 kills a game on World's Edge. Daewoo United, I think, have just bettered that slightly. But still, what I was saying before, Gino, that gap from first to third, absolutely massive. 47 points with 3 games remaining on Storm Point. Daewoo United would have to royally screw up somehow to not finish top 2 from here.
Oh, yeah, leagues, fathoms between those 2 teams and effectively Daewoo and the rest of the lobby. 68 points is an incredible feat on 1 map. And yeah, look, I don't know. I'm just going to say it again. We're on track for a record-breaking day, but I don't know what it is. Teams, they can never just play 2 maps out well. They always do one, and then every time we get excited about them maybe breaking the 100 points or something like that, they just I don't know, sit on their hands for the opposite map. But I'm hoping Daywide don't do that, because if we look at how they played out the Storm Point in our first series today, Xenox, they came away with a third and 7 kills and a second with 17 kills. You'll remember that was the match 6. So yeah, look, if they're that successful again on Storm Point here, we've got some high hopes for them.
This has been the day so far for Daewoo United, right? Like, they had a 4th place, a 2nd place, a 3rd place, a 2nd place, a 2nd place, a 1st place, a 1st place. The only 2 games they had that were poor was actually the final game of World's Edge and the first game of Storm Point back in the last group. 13th no kills, 19th no kills. That's it. They're the only 2 blemishes on the entire day so far. The rest, basically podiums.
I mean, in their first 3 games here, they basically equaled their score from all 6 games in the first series of today. That's how well they're doing. And they came 3rd in the first series.
Yep. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Well, it's all been about Daewoo United so far here in A versus B. Obviously, Chicken Sandwich still thereabouts, but for 3rd onwards, all very much up for grabs. Where did Exo Clan go? Maybe you can find them during the break when we come back. Storm Point on the other side.
gotta admit, I may have tricked you. Whew, glad I got that off my chest.
Tell Death I said hello.
I will, Clara.
The Day Where United show continues to roll on here. It is very much their lobby. It's very much their day, really, when you take everything into account now, Genome. They are firmly on top here for A versus B. It's a matter of how much they can finish on. You mentioned again, record-breaking stuff could be on the cards, but they'd have to sort of replicate their World's Edge form over in Storm Point. Fortunately, they were able to do that in B versus C. We'll see if they can do it again here in A versus B.
Yeah, and I think one of the other things about Storm Point that certainly could put them in good form as we have a look at the beacon is the fact that they are playing Barometer. Now, there's two parts about this that help out, I think, Xenox. One of them is that it's not contested at the moment. You used to see Barometer. Free agents like to land there as well. They'd have to split it with them. Loot wasn't quite as good. Second part is we've been getting a lot of Barometer circles for whatever reason. Who knows if that'll keep happening, but if it does, it is one of the best places to, sort of natively play from. So you can see there's a little building just to the north of the other Barometer text there on your screen that they will go to every single time, and it is quite likely, it doesn't always go this way, but it's quite likely that that's like a zone 4 or 5 position that you can play from, which is ridiculously strong for the team that starts there. So it's not like what we just saw in, Lava Siphon, where honestly it can, split in all directions, and it's actually quite hard to read if you're the team who comes from that POI. It really is advantage Dewa in those situations. So with 3 games to sort of see if any of that happens, any of those shenanigans, Dewa could be in a fantastic spot to go even further. And then just to, touch on that one contest we've got there up top between Free Agents and Team Op there. So Team Op have decided to move up there. As we said, previously they were down towards Shipfall Gale Station. But because we don't have Stinky B in this lobby, and they're not playing today, could see Free Agents or Team Op move down to Shipfall. I'd say most likely Free Agents.
Lots to keep an eye on here from the beacon as we're getting set to head into Storm Point, not too far away now. As we head into these sort of final 3 matches, again, you kind of have a look and see who really needs to pick up the pace, and it's probably right now Boogie Borders. I mean, moist-esports were able to at least finish strong on World's Edge. That was a much better performance in that 3rd match, but Boogie Borders have left a little bit to be desired. We'll see whether or not they can turn that around on Storm Point. As we saw a couple of teams do so at the very least in B versus C, they'll have to do so here, A versus B. Let's get underway though. Storm Point we go. Match number 4 here for A versus B. This is where we start to get down to the busy end of the day. Genome, 3 games remaining. First place is probably not really up for grabs, but everything else still firmly is.
Yeah, definitely a lot for these teams to play towards in Storm Point here. Now, I'm about to leave the cast and replace myself with a New Zealand caster, Xenox, just so they can give us a haka. Because guess what? Big Boss, true to his name, has picked up Gibraltar for GQ.
Wow. I mean, it's a little bit surprising in a sense that it's gotten to that kind of point, right? Where Gibraltar used to be such a staple, kind of picked around the same rate that we see from Valkyrie even now, but even back then still. In some ways it's a little bit sad, isn't it?
I miss him.
Yeah.
I miss the big man. He looks like he'd give good hugs, you know?
Done APAC North and their Watson ruled the world.
Yeah, they really did spread that to the rest of us.
You could say they spread their fences around the world.
Okay, sure.
Yep.
If you want to go with that, yep. Okay.
Do you think it's going to make much of a difference, though, on Storm Point? The Gibraltar was actually, it's an interesting conversation because that's where the Watson originally in APAC North was more all about World's Edge. And then we'd go
Xenox.
back over to...
Then we'd go back over to exactly what we just said. Yeah.
yeah, pretty much.
Oh boy. Oh boy. This one actually may not be like super barometer. It might actually be a little bit more towards where you see Su2 tap from GQ near the IMC Armory. It does look like it probably will be a hard pull down to there. Either way, though, like even if it's not barometer, like they were still next door to it, right? So, man, as far as the luck could go, it's honestly it's going pretty well for Daewoo today. You know, not only luck, of course. There's an incredible amount of skill involved in how they're playing today, but it's, you know, sometimes in VRs you need it all to go your way to have a record-breaking day, and it feels like that could be happening as Moist go down in an early fight with MDY.
Yeah, strange. Most esports haven't really been fighting a whole lot early on in these games. Prioritizing position, late game fights has sort of been more so their thing. They do get the revives, they're fine, they're okay. We do head over. Jaro probably feeling a bit of a pinch here at the moment with Xiao Kai. Still white armor. That's gone down very quickly for Team Mop. It has not been very, very friendly in this lobby, but they get rid of Good Riddance, who have not been able to find success here.
Yeah, really tough from them. Team Mop, not a team you want to see early on in the game when it's just you and just them. Now, of course, the reason Moist were over there and taking a bit of fire from MDY White is because they didn't get the beacon at Cascade Falls, so they had to make their way over to Ski Lift to grab that information. Of course, that delays their rotation even further. And, you know, now that they do have that information... No, they haven't, actually. They're still too worried about MDY White that they're thinking about... You know, they're worried about taking the damage while they're on the beacon, so they finally get it now. Anyway, other teams to talk about. We've got Northside there within the market. We've seen this be a good position, Xenox, but not great, because once the circles close and get a bit smaller, there's a lot of cracks, there's a lot of angles for people to take on you, and you can get shot like even through the roof. There's little cracks in there that people can wind down on you from.
Pick up for Savior. Obviously not a bad position to sort of fight for at the moment. Northside Esport, the ones that are contesting, have a good. This is just sort of on the major cliff at the center point, the starting point of this game. Early med kit from Jolas. Don't really sense that they're going to want to push out of this location. Don't know if it's necessarily going to shift onto them, Gino, but at the very least, they've got a couple of circles to sort of hold out here before they do have to maybe get moving. I kind of look at this green circle, and I think it is probably more likely to pull down to the south over towards Barometer, and you kind of get your wish there if it does eventuate.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not reading it like that, Xenox, and I don't think the teams are either. Even Daewoo, who could sit up in that northern building that I'm talking about, have actually chosen one that's a bit more central than that. So teams definitely flocking towards the budget mill IMC side of things. And if that is the case, it's going to be teams like Hermagerd, MDY. No, this is actually MDY in the other IMC, aren't they? Yeah, they're the one down at like Fish Farms at the moment. A bit further away. You know, Moist had to make that long rotation. Chicken Sandwich, once again, getting a bit frisky. They're going after SRY. Do they know that they're in pursuit? The bullets ring out now. They definitely do. Okay, double cracks. Do SRY want to push this, or are they going to let Chicken Sandwich dictate this fight, Xenox?
Yeah, potentially so. SRY struggled in this lobby. Fortunately,
Prowlers.
It's the same teams over the course of World's Edge that struggled, that So far, starting a little bit slow here on Storm Point as well. Doesn't seem to be much of a difference between the two maps. Sandwich feeling like they've got to probably finish this one quickly. Millicent's knocked. There's probably more to follow. Strafing Flame has been knocked though. Same with Panna. This has actually gone horribly wrong very quickly for Chicken Sandwich.
Oh,
Genlis has done well. Oh, this is a disaster.
Yeah, look, you said he's done well, but unfortunately at the time you said that, he was popping a shield battery and he had about 10 health remaining. He very really quickly realized there was probably no good way out of that situation because he had to pop the medkit to stay alive, but if he didn't do that, then he probably wasn't going to have any shields and he'd go down to play a K anyway. Anyway, the amount of damage this ring does, as long as you get that medkit off as soon as you get revived, you can get back into it. So you can see Panna and Strafing Flame, all good for now. Chicken Sandwich, they can actually decide to take a longer rotation and go through Launchpad and craft a couple of extra meds down there if they need to. There's even beacons ahead of them as well. So a lot of options here for Chicken Sandwich, honestly, who have just seen a lot of success playing this more edge kind of play style in previous weeks. There we go.
Wow. Yeah. Goes over towards this western side, right on top of God, who just did not have to move. Same with North side. North side actually have that intel as well. Obviously, the same can be said for GQ, right in the middle of it, on that little island. That's mean those teams, though, in Barometer, all will have to sort of fight their way into that next circle. North side's looking a little bit more vacant. We head over to 505. Not a surprise to see them in a fight. So Prezi, last one left alive, has a little bit of armor, has no health. And that is 505 eliminated early here on Storm Point. Out in 17th. And Manuel coming away with a big fight with something they've probably struggled a little bit with today. Had some good positions at times, but it's a lot of the times a player or two getting knocked early, and then it's down to A-Flow as a solo. This time, all three walk away healthy. They get the clean squad wipe. Good to see for them.
Well, Dugu play right on the max of free agent here up towards Mill. Leem already down. And Dugu play capitalize. Really taken any damage so far. Utility going in. 2 more players to find.
His shot's just not landing as quick as he would have liked. Almost actually went down. But Lahim, Balkan, Big Z, all gone. Free agents out in 16th. There's this early aggression into the second round really proving to be a factor, and I would imagine it's going to continue that way when you take into account the way the circle is shifting. Those teams in Barometer will have to fight their way out. Then you've got teams that are still further out towards the east. MDY and MDY White running next to each other. And coming in now through Antenna is going to be Chicken Sandwich, so they edge closer towards getting into this circle as well.
Other teams have got a little further to rotate, though. Chicken Sandwich, of course, being one of those. They're barely just getting into Jurassic Park now, or they might find MDY as a duo. MDY White blocking the other entrance or exit, depending on your point of view, from Jurassic Park. So they're just going to Valcol over the top of it, see where they find themselves.
And this is still just
the major last time they were here, they found that barrow right ahead of them, Xenox. They didn't do very well. Because they're not seeing anyone in this building, which is far better to hold, they're going to head straight in there, and they're actually going to be pretty damn happy about that, because the barrow, as we saw from last time when Nitsuru-sama was just peppering them with Sentinel bullets, isn't the greatest to hold.
Yeah, and that's the full strength of the Valkyrie on display as well. This is a team that has come basically from the other side of the map, right, at an inopportune time, and they've been able to still make their way to Barometer. Unfortunately for them, Barometer is only kind of a pit stop really along the way, where they have to keep making their way over towards, essentially where GQ currently located. So they have to get moving, and while that one rotation was rather seamless, rather easy, and as you said, they were able to scout out this building, the next one, the next move, the next rotation, not going to be as easy.
I mean, this is not what you expect from Moist Esports either. We're seeing them in the zone, crafting and, you know, just trying to find their way back into it. That's not their comfort spot, and that's certainly not how they want to be playing this game out. That's why they land in Cascade Falls, nice and central, where they can just rotate easily and quickly to a spot of their choice. So playing it on the outside here, they're not going to be super happy about that because it's MDY that you can see are actually shadowing them right now. They are rotating alongside them, and shots ringing out, and they can't shoot back. They barely have enough time to get the meds up for themselves. Anyway, going back towards where the zone is, Xenox, you can see that the team's taking the IMC here, and MDY just goes straight in for it.
Yeah, Mingyu gets Sutap. MDY White go up very low for themselves. This is basically going to come down to the final couple of bullets. GQ are gone. They had best position, but they've been infiltrated by MDY White. They're not the only team. Emmanuel are actually pushing at the same time. They're going for the third party. They sense that there's an opportunity for them to take this position. Now is the time to do so. Maybe just gone in really early. Asia just wipes them out, making sure that MDY White do not get any sort of chance to breathe, to heal, to survive. Take this position for themselves, and no one close by at a third party. This is all Emmanuel's.
That was the biggest gift I've ever seen as far as third parties go. I mean, GQ, I mean, sure, you have to try and find somewhere to play, but... oh, sorry, it was a GQ that was already in there. So MDY White, you know, they have to find somewhere to play, but they had no business taking that fight, and certainly were kind of lucky to come out on top, frankly, and the chances of them staying alive afterwards were almost nil. So when Emmanuel coming in there, that was kind of... Anyway, Chicken Sandwich, they finally have tried to get their way back into the ring, but it's MDY who have, yeah, just had their eyes trained on them for the longest time, who finally punished them out. So we didn't quite catch how Chicken Sandwich, oh, sorry, yeah, Chicken Sandwich got into that position. Oh, yeah, because Moist have actually made it out. Sorry, I was thinking of Moist as well, but they're a bit further north, so...
I think Moist actually just went all the way north and away from MDY, who was obviously sort of gatekeeping them a bit. So they've spent some time obviously healing up, and it's been a bit rough, but you know, in all credit, they got 3 up. They're sending it in. Skyward Dive, what can they get from here? They're not really in the best of positions to fight straight away. They probably want to find a safe spot, somewhere that they can maybe shoot, get that Evo building up, get those shields up. You know, blue, white shield at this point of the game, not really going to be enough, but it's not an awful position. It's safe for now. And yeah, it gives them a chance to probably start building up that Evo a bit.
It does give them a little bit of a chance, doesn't it? You know, Moist, they do find their position though, so still time for them to work this out. Dewa, they're going up against MDY. A bit of cover here. The RE45 once again in play. Finally, someone who's willing to use the digital threat sight with it. You've seen a lot of other pros today have just flipped that off in order to go with that care package weapon. Well, I certainly wouldn't want to be going up against them if I was MDY right now, but even though Sands has taken some damage, it looks like the fight is on in earnest.
Yeah, certainly is. One cracked already. QQ. Actually, Dewa, they've generally been really good in these fights today. They're not going to lose this one either. Easy Flash did get knocked. There is a chance they might get third-partied in an inopportune time. And even still, they get the revive. Even still, they don't get fully punished. Though there is finally that push coming in. Aussie, Shady, right on top of them. Boogie Borders looking to finally maybe make Dewa United pay. Being a little bit unclean in that earlier fight. They are gone. They are out in 10th. They only got a couple of kills this game. When the records are on the line, Gino, teams just sort of fall to their knees a little bit. And Boogie Borders will be very happy with that. They have struggled on World's Edge, but maybe Storm Point will be their map.
Let us move here.
Could be the one. Certainly wasn't World's Edge. And now Boogie Borders have 6 kills to their name. 3 maps in which to make their mark.
And up to blue now for Pricey. We spoke about this obviously with the Evo that they desperately needed. It was blue-white, now it's at least blue-blue. I'm hoping empty's probably somewhat close to purple. Spend some time there on that edge. Getting shots away. Now you've got to take those fights. You play. Moonlight Tears going to pop the bat. And armor at least for Busu Say. The Mop going to be gone. So 8 teams remain. 24 alive.
Yeah, they're gone, but they're taking Boogie Borders with them. Didn't win the fight cleanly enough. And yeah, just 1 or 2 shots there from, I think it was Savior or something like that, on Hermagerd was enough to finish them off. Meanwhile, Truth Esports try to make their way in to Exo's building, but they have their name on the title.
I said before, when we threw to the break, if you can find Exo Clan, well, they've found their way over to Storm Point. 2 matches in a row, Gino, where they finished last after finishing first. Maybe it's going to be first or last for Exo. Could you imagine first, last, first? It may very well be on the cards. They do have Moist pushing in behind them, though. Exo have to be aware of that. They have to be aware that they've got a team right outside their building, right behind them as Northside, trying to just deal with what's in front of them in Dugu play. There's 1 down. He'll only noob. Bleeding out at the moment, so maybe a chance for Northside to push on this. They've got to time this well to get rid of Moonlight Tears. So only Busu Say left. Does have a good angle, good sight lines. Don't know if it's going to be enough without the rest of his team.
I don't think he's going to be able to take on all 3 of Northside Esports, who are currently benefiting from his teammates' loot boxes. Moist-esports have found themselves underneath Exo Clan right now, and they're probably happy to just stay there for the moment. Emmanuel up to 3 reds. They're sitting in the IMC currently. They've been there ever since they were able to finish the other 2 off. They've actually got a trident, so they're going to use that to just park their way into the next zone. Ride or die.
This is going to be the game where it really just goes the way of Emmanuel. Had a good fight earlier, good third party, but now you've got to push out. Now it's not going to be as easy for you. They're starting to feel that pressure. Asia, A-Flow, both low. Can they find a crack here? They find something that can go their way. Yeah, there is. A bit of flash down in front of them. They're looking to just try and finish off. Arcstars have gone out. Neighbors has fallen. Fortunately, it's only Asia that's left, and he is falling very quickly by the wayside. Got to get this knock. Got to find this kill. Cannot. Unfortunate for Emmanuel. They just cannot survive. Full credit to Emmanuel. They survive and they do stay up, but I think it might only be the one that will be able to stay alive, and maybe not for much longer anyway. Yeah. Unfortunately, Saber got pushed very, very quickly. Pricey will be the benefactor for Moist Esports. 3 squads remain. Northside, Exo. I think Exo might be in the best position here because Northside's gone in. They've gone in early. They've lost the player. Exo need to just third party this.
They've recognized it at exactly the right time. They get in on top of Northside, and
actually happened.
For the second time, Exo take the victory where it looks like there was almost no other option, no other possibility.
Wow.
Complete control, all 3 of them alive, and Exo with 2 wins out of 4.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they're taking the phrase, you're either first or you're last, very literally at the moment. First, last, first from Exo Clan. They needed that, though, in fairness, right? And the good news for them is that they weren't too far behind anyway. They had 20 points from that first game. So even despite finishing last in the next 2, I think they were still like, I want to say they were like 4th, something around there. Obviously, they're not close to Chicken Sandwich in 2nd or anything. But they were like 4th or 5th. So with this win, suddenly they might go back up into a nice, safe, comfortable 3rd. And in all things considered, I don't think 3rd will be all that bad for Exo Clan when you take into account, you know, Moist, Boogie Borders, not really having the best of days. If they can secure 3rd when it's all said and done, that's a big dub for them.
And it's it's another clean win for Exo because they've got there's another 20 kills. There's another 8 kills on top of the win. So they're up to exactly 40 points from 20 points from 2 games and 0 points from 2 games. Interesting how Oh, they've done that. Okay, well, EXO now are going to move up there. Only probably going to be in second, maybe even third place. Dewa still way out in front. But because they did grab a couple of kills and I think one placement point this time, they'll continue their march on towards 100, towards the triple figures, which we haven't seen yet happen in a split one.
Yeah, and look, obviously, what's that now? 4 matches gone, so 2 matches remaining for today, and it's a good time for EXO to get those points. Yeah, they were 4th for the record. You know, they were 1 point behind Good Riddance going into this game, and well, for EXO, yeah, this is basically exactly what they needed. A win, get them back third. They want to secure third. I mean, in some ways, they might even be able to go back to contesting Chicken Sandwich. I think Chicken Sandwich themselves didn't do all that off. They had 3 kills, 13, so they got some points from this. So it might mean Chicken Sandwich might still stay in that second place, but with 2 games to go, suddenly EXO can actually get that second place once again, provided they keep winning or they, keep doing well. Better from Northside Esport. They've been thereabouts coming into this game. They were 6th. You go and get second, 6 kills. Somewhat now puts them in a position where they might be sitting 4th. At the end of this game, going into the last 2.
Watch these highlights play out. Interesting comment from Waltzy actually in the game chat. He says, "That was the most scuffed game. My heart is about to explode." So who knows? Maybe some of the Moist players are struggling with the pressure. Will be a bit of a harsh read of that. Considering how well they are doing overall. Production's telling us that they had to brave the zone several times throughout that game to make their way into third.
Yeah.
So
they were being gatekept by MDY, remember, right? So they had to make their way up north. They were in the zone for quite a long time. They had to obviously drop right on the western side. They were playing for Evo. They got some. So, full credit. That's the kind of game where you just have to scrape some points. And they were able to do that as we get the standings after 4 matches played. It is, in fact, tied between EXO Clan and Chicken Sandwich, both on 40 points. Neither of which are really close to Dewa United, who, with 2 games to go, I think are pretty much firmly going to take that top spot. They'll get the 25 points, barring, a massive, massive final 2 games from either EXO or Chicken Sandwich. Northside do move up into 4th, but moist-esports, they were 9th after 2 games, Genome, so they've just been steadily climbing. And same with Boogie Boarders too. Those 2 were both teams that were 11th and 12th after the first 2 games, and since then they're now 5th and 6th. So I think that speaks volumes to their ability to maybe just sort of roll with the punches a little bit. Slow start, but they've been able to bounce back.
Oh man, a little bit of time for that to happen, I guess. That said, I think Dewa have this pretty much dropped, shocked, and locked, as Bangalore would say. I don't know. It's getting late, Xenox. getting into the delirious end of
It's getting
the
into
night.
gamer hours. That's what it's getting into, right? We still got 2 more games to go.
You're right. We're peaking. Let's go.
Exactly. We're peaking. All right, we're going to a short break. We do come back. 2 more matches of Storm Point here for Group A versus B. Top spots looking very good for Dewa United, but EXO Clan, Chicken Sandwich are battling firmly for that second place.